What's going on, guys? Before we get into anything, please give a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for the support so far for the Take Sports Pod. Episode 4 coming your way right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Take, Episode 4. It is October 7th. Crazy that we're already a week into October. Still lots of sports to talk about. NBA Finals, 4 games in. MLB is 1 or 2 games in, whether you're in the American League or the National League, of their division series. And, there's NFL to talk about. And all that is the COVID crisis that is going around right now. So we're going to see if some teams are going to be playing, some teams are. We're going to get it right into it. NBA Finals. Lakers are up 3-1. I know you're probably saying, Nick, what happened to your Heat? What's going on? You like them? I did. And then Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo got hurt during or after game 1 and didn't even play games 2 or 3. Now, granted, the Heat took game 3, and it was really just because Jimmy Butler came out with a 40-point triple-double. Only one of 3 players to do that in the NBA Finals. He was brilliant 3 nights ago for game 3. And last night, it didn't go, you got Bam back, and, they made it, Butler made it a series, made it 2-1 going into last night. Bam was back. You thought he was, your difference maker, which he was, and he played well. Gave you 7 boards, 16 points. Nothing was falling for Miami. And I'm gonna go back to what I said last week with the keys to this series, and one was LeBron James, and LeBron's played really, really well this series outside of game 3, which the Lakers lost. He turned it over 8 times, and when you're doing that, you're not going to win. Bench points, bench players. The Lakers bench, surprisingly, has been much better than Miami. Markieff Morris is giving Frank Vogel great minutes off the bench. Alex Caruso, Rajon Rondo, they're giving all great minutes. Caruso and Rondo are some of the sneakiest offensive rebounders that are keeping possessions alive for the Lakers. Something that Miami cannot allow to happen. What was one of my other 4 points? Rebounding. Miami rebounded in game 3. They didn't rebound throughout the entire other 3 games, really. Anthony Davis finally was crashing the boards. That's a big difference with AD. And again, game 3, AD was in foul trouble. He was barely on the court. And you needed something similar last night for a similar game 3 outcome to have happened. They drove the basket early, Miami. They ended up with 13 free throw attempts compared to 3 in that first half. The Lakers were up by 2 at the time, and that's another thing. I think the Lakers not playing well in one half and still being up by a small margin plays really well into the Lakers' favor. They had 2 terrible first half, game 3 and game 4. They were still in, striking distance, game 3. They let it get away because Butler had a great second half as well. And then game 4, Miami couldn't hit a shot. Jay Crowder, where have you been? He's been abysmal. He's been abysmal since that Buck series. Can't shoot right now. Duncan Robinson made some great threes last night. Hero got it going a little bit late. It's tough. It's tough when the depth of your team for Miami gets challenged that much, in the sense that Spoelstra has to work around not having his best 3 players on the court. Now Hero is a starter. You finally get Bam back last night, so a guy like Olynyk is coming off the bench again. And that's the thing. Having Hero and Iguodala come off the bench while Dragic is starting creates that second unit being able to match up against a Lakers second unit that sometimes doesn't include LeBron James or AD. It's at least when only one of them are on the court, and you could at least, keep keep your, not hopes alive, but keep the game, you know, going in a direction where you can get on a run and put points on the board for Miami. So that's been, for me, the biggest thing is that the Lakers bench is playing better. They're rebounding. LeBron outside of game 3 has played incredible. And then the transition defense, like I said earlier, last night showed that the Lakers had nothing in the half-court offense, and they still were able to pull away because Miami couldn't get back on defense enough. You had Caldwell Pope shooting a handful of threes in transition, knocking them down. They played a lot of that zone and coming underneath screens. LeBron hit a handful of three-point shots in the half court, but it was him bringing up the ball, getting to the top of the key, or above the three-point line, seeing what the defense was playing, and putting up a three. And he actually hit a few clutch three-pointers, something that you don't see out of LeBron all that much. It's tough to say so game 5 is Friday. They get 2 days off in between last night in game 4 and game 5. It's the Lakers series now. They either take it on Friday or they take it Sunday. I really thought the Heat had a really good chance to win this game. They kept it close for the entire game. The largest lead was towards the end of 9 points. And 7 was the largest lead at around 5 or 6 minutes left in the ballgame. They kept it close for the entire thing. And when they had some good defensive stops, when they played good defense, and they were playing the game into their favor, they couldn't get over it. It seemed like they were within 5 or 6, and then they got it within 1, and they just couldn't take a lead after that point. Down 1, you had LeBron driving in, getting an and 1 layup. You had Caldwell Pope, or again, Caruso hitting a 3, AD making a nice elbow jumper. He could never get it going. Their three-point shooting wasn't that great. And after the second half, we didn't see Jimmy Butler really drive to the basket enough and use his inside presence like he did all of game 3 in the first half of game 4. That being said, when you have an open shot, you got to take it. And it just wasn't falling for Miami. I feel like Miami passed up a lot of even open 2-point shots or open layups to kick it back out and get it going. You have to credit the Lakers. They came back. They played well. After I feel like I think they feel like they got embarrassed game 3, and they kind of came in with this urgency. I think both teams were desperate, and both of them were obviously, Miami didn't want to be down 3-1. Heat didn't want to drop 2 in a row after being up 2-0 and really make this an interesting series. But LeBron got it done. Lakers got it done. And I don't know what it's going to take for the Heat to stay alive, but you can't rely on Jimmy Butler giving you 40 points, triple-double every game. He had another great game last night. We'll see Dragic's status for Game 5. Being down 3-1, I really don't know if Spo wants to rush Dragic back just to see if we can get any minutes out of him, although it is elimination. We're going to see. My Heat pick not looking great, but again, it just stinks because the first 3 games, the Heat didn't play to full strength. You didn't get to see what this team was doing all playoff long against the Bucks, against the Celtics. You didn't get Dragic, who was averaging 20 a game in those last 2 series. You missed those points. You missed the defense. You missed the facilitating. It's Lakers in 5 or 6. It stinks that it had to come to this, or that, you didn't get the best matchup we could have gotten. MLB Fall Frenzy is underway. Talked a little bit last week about the Wild Card Series, my predictions. We hit over 50%. Not too bad. I had Atlanta in 3. They won in 2. So for me, that's a win, at least picking the team. Houston in 2. That was a perfect. Cubs in 3. That was a stinker. I was stupid with that pick. Especially after Miami took game 1. I was like, all right, I think the Cubs with Darvish game 2, and then Lester with game 3. We're going to do the job with this Marlins team. I saw the Marlins all year playing the Mets with that young core. They are, they got in. They're no like no, they're going by the bottom feeder mentality. Hey, like we just got in. We're gonna see how we do. The Cubs stink. The Cubs were really bad, and I don't know why I drew myself into wanting or saying that the Cubs were going to win the series. Besides Hendricks, who gave up the home run in the seventh inning of Game 1, ended up getting the loss, and Darvish ended up giving the home run and getting the loss. The Cubs' offense is terrible, not good. Baez batted under 200. Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, they're dead. They stink. I don't know why I put any trust in them. They were terrible this year, in my opinion. Not a good team, and they're out. So, White Sox, Oakland. White Sox in 2. After they took the first one, I thought the White Sox bats were going to get going. And then I saw what happened. Oakland wins Game 2. But then Game 3, I was like, oh my gosh. Why did I pick the White Sox? Rick Renteria used like 10 pitchers. Dane Dunning went like 2/3, 1/3 of an inning. And then it was just a bullpen game from start to finish. It was ugly. It was long. The game lasted like 6 hours. And then Bob Melvin just said, hey, it's go time, thanks. And the veteran group got it done. Tampa Bay in 2, got that right. St. Louis in 3, didn't get that one right. It was San Diego in 3. As much as I really liked San Diego, I was like, St. Louis, think they take Game 1 here tonight, especially with Clevenger and Lamet being out for the entirety of the playoffs. I was like, this might be just a tough luck for the Padres, and they might get booed in that first round, but they stayed alive. They got it done. They won Game 2 and 3, and now they face the Dodgers in the NLDS. Yanks in 2, Dodgers in 2. Those are my 2 chalk bets, and those are easy. But going to the division series now, Yanks, Rays, Houston, Athletics. You got the Astros playing really good baseball now. They're up 2-0 against Oakland. They haven't lost in this postseason yet. And say what you want about the cheating and all that stuff. Not that there should be any narrative like of the Astros being some like underdog and look at us, we can actually play. No, you still cheated. You still are a joke. Carlos Correa, like you got to shut your mouth. Like there's no feeling sorry for you or what are they going to say now? No, I'm still going to say you cheated. Like, congrats on playing, well this postseason. They got to keep their head down and just keep playing, though, because I really don't see the Astros losing this. Especially Dusty Baker is in a perfect situation. Game 1, they took a win. You had Bassett against McCullers. You got Bassett. You knocked Bassett out early. McCullers didn't pitch great. And, Dodger Stadium, they're playing 1 o'clock games, West Coast, 4 o'clock here, East Coast. Ball's flying out. It's the weather hasn't changed. It's not cool. It is still, hot. And every baseball, they're looking like pop-ups and they're going out of the ballpark. Yeah, McCullers with his hands going like, what the fuck? What the hell? Like, what's going on? But they hung on, and then Game 2, yesterday, Framber Valdez gave you 7 innings of really, really good baseball. Springer went deep twice. And Dusty went 7 with him. He kept his young starter in there. He got into a nice groove. A's hitters couldn't respond, couldn't do anything with it. And Greinke's not pitching Game 3. He has some discomfort. You still have Urquidy. And like I said last week, I like Urquidy in a type of elimination, has a chance for an elimination game. He's been there before. He has that experience. They're facing the kid, Jesus Luzardo, a lefty. I like the Astros lineup against lefties. I like them a lot. Expect Springer, Correa, Altuve, Gurriel. They're going to keep their bat in the ball. This team does not strike out a lot. Put the ball in play. They're going to get runs across. They've showed it the last 2 days. And so, yes, they're up 2-0 right now. I think even before this series would have started, if I went on the show, I would have picked Houston to make that ALCS. So I think they're going to make it. Now, Yanks, Rays, I still like Tampa. Although I would love to see Yanks, Astros just to see the, welcome back from last year and see how it really plays out. And there's going to be a fire under the Yankees if they see the Astros. It's going to be bad blood, 7 games. It's going to be a series. But first, you got to get through Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is no slouch of a team. Yanks won game 1. Tampa won last night. Aaron Boone tried to get a little cute. Pitched Deivi Garcia game 2. He only won an inning. You bring in Happ to give up 4 more runs. I didn't understand it. At least, if you were going to go with the opener, why not pitch Deivi, maybe 3 innings and then give Happ the next 3. But 1 inning, I just don't. It's a head scratcher. And now we know there'll be a game 4, so you can only assume that game 4 is going to be Montgomery starting and Deivi coming in as more of the long relief. Today, you got Charlie Morton against Tanaka. Yankee fans are really hoping you get the postseason Tanaka that you've seen over the past few years. Not the start you got against Cleveland. He didn't pitch great against Cleveland. Who knows, maybe it was the weather, the going from pitching later, then coming on, then delayed, then come back on. All those little possibilities could have affected his pitching. I still like Tampa. I think they're deeper. I think you've seen it, that their bullpen is, I think, better than the Yankees right now. As good as that back end of the Yankees bullpen has been with Chapman, Britton, Chad Green, I think Cash knows the strength of his bullpen. He's not scared to go to his bullpen early. And with there being no off days in this 5-game series, and it's something that we've never seen before, Cash is going to strategize. And he went with Anderson for 2 innings yesterday. Went with the kid Fairbanks. He lost it a little bit. It was a little nervous. Ended up being 7-5. A few runners on. He struck out, 2, and then got that ground ball to end the game. But it's nice to have Charlie Morton, who has a ring, has a deep postseason experience, to give you a game 3. So this is going to be a really good matchup. Probably my favorite matchup of the night. Out of the 5, I still like Tampa, and I think this series goes 4. Today's gonna be huge because again, I'm backtracking in my mind, guys. So apologies for that. If this game does go, series goes 5, you have Cole on short rest, and I think Cole gets it done, and the Yankees get it done. Now, if Cole goes game 5 of this series, you don't have him probably till game 3 of the ALCS, and that's on short rest too. So Boone has some decisions to make. You go to the NL, Dodgers up 1-0 against San Diego. Atlanta up 1-0 against Miami. I feel like something that everyone was, that's the expected. The early game, Atlanta, they were down early 4-1. Max Fried did not pitch well. Atlanta came back. They scored 6 in that 7th inning, bottom of the 7th. And when in a game where you didn't get the best from your number 1, from your ace, really good. Braves bullpen, really good. They showed it yesterday. They held him. They're really good. Dodgers, though, again, it's tough. You thought you were going to get something out of Clevenger. He came out after 1 inning. He tried to pitch hurt. He tried to give the Padres something. And it's tough to see that happen to Mike. Again, it's the Dodgers series to lose at this point. You're up 1-0. You have Kershaw on the bump tonight. San Diego doesn't even know who's starting. They haven't even announced their starter yet for game 2. So I feel like they're going to be, outside of pitching Zach Davies in game 3, you got to piece the innings together for out of your bullpen. And it's tough to win. It's tough to win a 5-game series like that. You were able to get it done in a 3-game set. You're able to get them through there, but in 5, it's too difficult, and I think it's too hard, especially with this juggernaut offense that the Dodgers have with guys like Betts, Bellinger, JT, Muncy. The Dodgers are too good. Dodgers are my World Series. They're gonna go in the World Series from out of the NL. So, if I want to give you a full prediction, we won't be back on until Wednesday. So you think, the division series is going to be over. I like Tampa, I like Houston, I like Dodgers, and I'll take Atlanta. I think Miami does get 1 game out of this. And it sucks because I thought Miami was going to get the first one, maybe strike first, get that 1-0, be at 1-0, especially after you face the Braves ace and Max Fried. That would have been big. But now, Atlanta up 1-0. Atlanta offense is unbelievable as well. They strike out a lot, but, guys like Freddie Freeman, Ozuna, Acuna, Albies, d'Arnaud now hitting really well. They're too good. So, CS matchup, I think it's going to be Houston, Tampa Bay, Dodgers, Atlanta. I'll take Tampa Bay and LA for the World Series. I might go chalk. I'll take the Dodgers, though. We'll see how it plays out. I might have to give you a revised pick after the series. Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking about right now. This is The Take. We'll be back with some NFL talk shortly. A lot of question marks for the National Football League. Lots of question marks. Stephon Gilmore, all-pro corner for the Patriots, tested positive for COVID after they moved the Patriots-Chiefs game to Monday because Cam Newton tested positive. They couldn't get going for Sunday, so they played it Monday. Ugly game, but they were able to play it. So no practice for the Patriots, no one in the facility, things like that. There's probably 3 games now that are in question, that are in jeopardy of not being played. And that's Pats Broncos now, Chiefs Raiders, because you're going to have to think, hopefully no one tests positive for Kansas City. But obviously you got to trace back to that and see guys that shared the field with against Gilmore, some of the offensive players. Got to see what that's about. And then third, Titans Bills. Now, the NFL's investigating the Titans to see if they did any workouts that were not allowed because of all the COVID stuff. You're gonna get cheated out of some games this week if that's the case from guys being a little stupid then, if they're working out when they're not supposed to. Bills are rolling at 4-0. The Titans are 3-0. Even they couldn't play this week against the Steelers. That would have been a really good game, combining 2 undefeated teams of the AFC. But that's 3 games that potentially are not going to be played. I don't see the Pats playing this week because especially if it's basically what happened to the Titans and Steelers. No practice, not allowed in the facility. They're supposed to play at 4:30 on Sunday. Again, so today's Wednesday. You got a few days, but I don't think they got enough time. Definitely don't got enough time. So those are 3 games. Who knows? Now, with that being said, Bills might not be playing this week. They're 4-0. And Josh Allen looking like a real MVP candidate. He's looking real good. Looking really, really good. And I think when it comes to MVP talk, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, you got to put Josh Allen in that category. Those are 3 undefeated quarterbacks in the NFL right now. You got to give him credit. Got to give the Bills credit. Now, on the opposing side, Giants and Jets 0-4. Seem like a broken record repeating. Bills undefeated. Giants, Jets defeated. Don't gotta win. Sam Darnold out, AC joint sprain. Joe Flacco starting this week. Giants made it interesting against San Fran. Just for Daniel Jones to throw a pick in the red zone. So it's like, and especially even Thursday night, a game which the Jets should have won. They had the opportunity to win, and they blew it. Both of these quarterbacks have been able to drive late in the game. Hey, maybe they'll get it done. No, they didn't. Couldn't get it done. Didn't get it done. And we're sitting here miserable as shit. I don't even know what to really take away from these losses. And I really don't know what to take much of what's going on right now in the NFL. The Cowboys stink. I'll give you a little rundown of just all these teams now of not playing well or playing well. If I didn't think the NFC East could get any worse, usually like a 500, like an 8-8 team, or maybe a 7-9 team wins that division every year. It seems like. I think 6-10 gets you in. I'm not even kidding. Eagles got a big win Sunday night against the Niners. So they're 1-2-1, and they lead that division. Giants 0-4. Cowboys 1-3. The Washington football team 1-3. I mean, the Giants are actually still in this. Like, the Giants have a chance for the no, everyone has a chance of that division until the last 2 weeks of the season. You could play 14 games. You're still in it. Thursday night, Bucks, Bears. Tom Brady, he had a tough first half against the Chargers, right? And he still ended up throwing for 5 touchdowns against the Chargers. Still had 5 touchdowns. And we got Brady against Foles. The old Super Bowl matchup that Foles took from him, both wearing different uniforms. Love the Bucks -3.5, if that's what you got on it. I think that is probably your best bet Thursday night. I'm interested to see how much offense are we going to get from this game. The Bears have to probably be the worst 3-1 team out there. They're still 3-1, but probably the worst 3-1 team out there. Bucks are 3-1. So we're actually getting 2 solid, at least on paper, record-wise, 2 solid teams going up against each other on a Thursday night game. We never get that. Haven't gotten that in a year. So I will be watching it. What's that? Tomorrow? Today's Wednesday. That will be tomorrow. So it's tough for the NFL, especially not having any preseason and being 4 weeks in. I feel like it's been really hard to evaluate teams to a full scale. It's been easy with some, like the Chiefs. I feel like the Bills, the undefeated teams, the ones that you thought were going to be there in the beginning, even before the whole COVID thing, and how it was going to start with no preseason, no OTAs, things like that. You knew what you were getting out of the Chiefs, out of the Seahawks. Think 4-0 from Buffalo. I bet you some expected that. They're good. This is their division for sure, especially with the Patriots going down now 2-2 after Brian Hoyer started for the Patriots against Kansas City. They're in the driver's seat right now, Buffalo. You're above, you're right there with the Chiefs now. And you're up above the Ravens. Probably the second best team in this conference right now. Got to feel good. Got to feel good about it. We'll see if they even play this week. I'm wondering if momentum, they're riding hot. I feel like a week off could hurt them a little bit. It's going to be a close game, though. Tennessee's had over, a week and a half to prepare and hang off and at least watch film probably on their own. It's going to be another interesting week of football. This is the take. Sorry to disappoint some people. There are no Nick's Best Bets for Wednesday, for today. No NBA, a handful of MLB. But with MLB, you have, game twos for the NLDS. So again, I feel like that it really could go either way. Houston up 2-0. You'd expect some fight out of Oakland to make it a series in 2-1. Again, I'm not sure. Yankees Rays again tied at 1. You can go either way. So don't want to force anything on that. No NBA, like I said. NFL not to the weekend. Thursday night, like I said, I'm leaning more Tampa with their spread, but nothing crazy. If you want, I do on Twitter, I will post and tweet out my best bets throughout the week, even when I don't post or I don't announce here on the podcast. So look out at the Take Sports Pod on Twitter. Give us a follow. I throw out my best plays usually every day. So not just on the Wednesdays on the pod, but throughout the rest of the week. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your day. This is The Take.